Patrick is here with his wife, Charmaine, and he's an expert in sustainable development, green energy, Agenda 21, the 2030 Agenda, Technocracy, and AI. He's the author of The Evil Twins of Technocracy and Transhumanism, and they have that book in their book ministry, and several other books as well. So join us as we welcome Patrick Wood.
All right. Okay, I have my screen up. Okay, I'm known as the Technocracy guy. I've been speaking about technocracy for 15 years at least, and I'm not going to talk about technocracy right now. So you have to trust me on that. It's a big thing, and we're going to talk about AI, but nevertheless today, these are my books. This is my premium membership on my website, Technocracy News. And I also have a boot camp right now on technocracy. Just launched this about 2 weeks ago. And people are taking it. It's about 15 hours, 20 hours of kind of intense video lessons, taking you from the beginning to today. 17 or 18 lessons at this point. Easy to consume, but nevertheless, if you want to get into the nuts and bolts of technocracy, that's the good place to do it, for sure. So today we're going to talk about AI, in particular, seduced into the Matrix. Anybody remember the movie The Matrix? Yeah, what a bummer, right? It's crazy stuff. Great. We thought back in when the first one came out, what, 99? I think we all thought, oh, that's just so wild, you know, far out, science fiction. Who would have thunk it, right? No way. But now we're living it almost. So it's crazy stuff. So why do we care about AI at this point anyway? And by the way, when I give this presentation, I want you to remember this is all in the context of technocracy in the first place. And that they can't be separated. But nevertheless, I have to introduce you to this topic. This will make it more relevant to you when we talk about technocracy later. So who cares about AI in the first place? Well, AI is the pinnacle of technocrat achievement. It really is, because it points, for us as Christians especially, it points to the total scientific dictatorship pictured in the book of Revelation. That is chapter 13, where it says, "He had the power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed." This is looking forward, obviously, to chapter 13 in the book of Revelation. We will not be there. You already know that because Tommy Ice gave us a great reason we're not going to be here. But nevertheless, we can see what's going on now in preparation for that day, someday. Honestly, I think there's a good case to make that the rapture is close just based on this development today, this stuff that we see with AI. Now, there's no theology on that at all. I'm just saying that's just one more thing to make me think we got to be close at this point. Of course, we said that 40 years to. I remember when the first scanners came into the grocery store. Christians just freaked out. Oh, I'm never going to go into that store again, you know. No, they're going to put a thing on my hand here and I'll be barcoded, whatever. Well, we got over it, right? But this is really the time now that we see AIs advancing like leaps and bounds. So we're going to cover this today. What is artificial intelligence, first off? Well, it was defined by one of the fathers of AI back in 1995, the science and engineering of making intelligent machines. Okay? Fast forward The encyclopedia today says its systems are endowed with intellectual processes characteristic of humans, such as the ability to reason, discover meaning, generalize, or learn from past experience. Sounds innocuous, right? Well, here's the guys this is the group that started the whole thing in 1995. John McCarthy was the guy that led this pack, and affectionately, back in that day, all these guys were from Dartmouth. Interesting, the name stuck, John McCarthy and the Boys. Go figure. But they're relaxing on the lawn, and these were the brainiacs of that day that say, we can do something special with this technology. Now computers are coming out in 1955, and we see fast forward to the future, we see a day where artificial intelligence is going to be a thing. Well, they didn't have a name for it at that point, but these are all the names that they discussed. Who could even pronounce some of those things? So they settled on artificial intelligence, right? Minsky, one of the guys in that picture, said, well, that's a suitcase term. That's exactly what it was, too. So here's the relevance for Christians especially. A global scholar by the name of Dr. Parag Khanna, he's not American, he's from Singapore at this point, he's Asian, and he wrote a book. He's written several books, brilliant books. I didn't agree with the thing he said, but nevertheless, he was along the order of Zbigniew-Brzezinski, in my opinion. Nevertheless, he wrote this book, Technocracy, and in the preface of this book, like the title page and then the next page, this quote appeared, knocked my socks off. He said, we're building this global society without a global leader. Global order is no longer something that can be dictated or controlled from the top down. Globalization itself is the order. Just to think about this for just a second. Who would we identify as being somebody that could take over the system at some point in the future to make use of it, right? Well, it sounds to he didn't say the Antichrist, but you get the idea. They're building the system without a global leader. And truly, there is no global leader, for instance, for AI at this point. It seems to be morphing on its own all over the world, especially in America. So let's talk about what it is. Number one, the term artificial intelligence is an oxymoron. You know what that is, right? It's not human intelligence. We're the only ones who were given intelligence by God himself. There's no other animal, well, we're not animal, but there's no other being, entity in the universe that has intelligence like we have intelligence, and certainly not sentience as well. So AI is never going to be sentient because it's not human. AI cannot reason in the same sense that humans can reason, and there's no semblance of human intuition as well. However, AI is a control system. It was designed to be a control system from the get-go. And so whatever the hype you see all over the place, you look at YouTube and see all these videos talk about artificial intelligence, how great it's going to be, it's going to surpass intelligence of man. And maybe it will. They can fake it. But nevertheless, when the day is done, it's a control system designed to control the objects from which it extracts data in the first place. Okay, so here's a couple of industry charts that I've found, and just to give you a sense, well, AI is everywhere now. You can't get loose from it, it seems like, but here's Here's one industry graphic. AI is in the center of that: biology, math, psychology, philosophy, etc. Here's another one. This has more options, I guess: marketing, social media, gaming, human resources, robotics, for sure, that's a big thing today, lifestyle things, healthcare, education, e-commerce, all these, basically anything in life at this point seems to be saturated with AI. You might think, well, I'm never going to get close to AI. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot stick, right? You're already touching it. It's already touching you. So get over that part of it, right? So I'm going to give you just a summary of the stages of AI development at this point. When ChatGPT first came out in 2023, it took the world by storm. There was over 300 million views, or not views, but downloads of the application that they released all over the world. Incredible acceptance by the general public. So you might be familiar with the concept of chatbot. Well, that means you type something in, ask a question, whatever, it gives you an answer. You might not like the answer, but that's not the point. You chat with it. That sounds innocuous, doesn't it? Well, I just have a little chat with my AI on my phone, my smartphone or whatever. Well, there's another another aspect of this now is this whole business of agents. And agents are kind of a step beyond just chatting, where it triggers a multi-step, autonomous, self-actuated activity. Your smartphone is the first place you'll see this. Anybody have a smartphone here? You don't show them. It's okay. But your smartphone is a good example of what an agent is, because all these new models from Android and Samsung, Apple, they all have built-in artificial intelligence now. That you can't escape it. Well, you can turn it off in some cases, but nevertheless, you can't escape it. Then you have, beyond that, you have this business of assistance now, where you have virtual people, in a sense, to assist you to doing your job. Programmers are being augmented, if you will, by the use of an AI assistant right next to them, in a sense. When they're coding their own work, they can ask their assistant to go off and do something for them, or maybe get another snippet of code or whatever, and they can paste it in. Then beyond that, we have this the business of the managers, and managers are capable of not only orchestrating a gaggle of assistants, and who in turn can use agents to control whole organizations. Groups, companies, cities, digital twins. This is incredibly powerful at this point. You see this, you should see this, when Elon Musk, for instance, talks about all the stuff that they've uncovered in these agencies in the government. How do they do that? How do they get all this information in some way they can analyze what's going on? Well, they use organizational level AI to basically take the whole thing, put a whole organizational structure on it, and then figure out what's going on. So at this point, it's AI is developed to a point where it literally can take over, for instance, in our government, whole agencies at this point, departments within agencies as well, where humans are no longer needed. Okay, here's the agents in your phone, on your hand. They all have advanced AI at this point. Okay, the crazy stuff. So I want to just give you a thought now. How fast is AI proceeding? You know that since AI was first introduced with ChatGPT, you know there's been several iterations since then, right? Other releases, and the competitors are all leapfrogging each other. One has this, like, can do videos, another comes out, can do voice synthesis or whatever. And so we see the progress of AI. This is what they say anyway. I think it's true as well, that AI is basically doubling every 3.5 months right now. Yeah, we used to have the thing called Moore's Law that concerned silicon and chip development. That meant every 18 months, there would be a doubling of the chip capacity on a single chip computer processor. That's held true over the years, but 18 months, that's a lot, but it's, this is 3.5 months where AI is just going nuts. And so I want you to think what this means in terms of where we're going to be 4 years from now, because now we have a Trump administration. And if we consider that when Trump came in January, that was first quarter, second quarter, actually there's going to be 48 quarters in his administration, right? Just do the math. And what would AI look like by the end of his administration? Well, based on the concept of AI doubling every 3.5 months, 2, do the math, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 10, 20, 40, 20, 46. By the end of by the end of the Trump administration, AI will have doubled by 32,000 times. Just let that sink in just a little bit. We're talking about a development that the world has never seen before. And it's going exponential for sure. If it's capable today to take over organizations and companies even, what will it be capable of doing 4 years from now, you see? This is the problem. This is going to, the threat is at this point, it's going to so overwhelm the world will lose touch with reality, basically. This is what was talked about in the book, for instance, Future Shock by the Tofflers in 1970, somewhere back there, where they said, well, technology is going to be so far ahead of humans to think about, to understand it, they'll treat it as magic eventually. We see this trend already, where people are looking at this just like it's just magic. I can't understand what's going on. It just must be magic. Well, it's not magic, right? Okay, so I want to talk about the economic impact of AI. We're going to get now where the rubber meets the road. Number one, it's predicted there's going to be 50 to 60% loss of jobs globally. Just consider that. That's huge. This is especially in light with the recent advances of humanoid robots equipped with AI, of course. We talked about the melding of the global job market, where people can work remotely anywhere in the world at this point. So the labor market all of a sudden is just heaped on itself, where there's no competition anymore for wages. And This has led the AI, the tech bros, to declare that there's going to be a new class of people in the world. They're called the unemployables, not the unemployed, but the unemployables. They think these people will never be employed again because they'll be displaced from the labor market forever. That may not work, may not happen, but nevertheless, I'm just saying. We see this trend talking about universal basic income. This has been all over the news. All the AI people are talking about it, the tech bros, they call them. They're talking about universal basic income because so many people are going to be out of work. What are you going to do with them? You have to do something to them, otherwise they'll come after you with pitchforks and torches eventually, right? And so they think, well, we'll just give them free money. Decision-making is a big thing. It's going to be taken over by all of these processes. Imagine since maybe Social Security Administration, an example. If the AI makes a mistake on your check for Social Security, some of you probably understand what Social Security is at this point. Some of you will never see it at all. But nevertheless, if you have a mistake and I got cheated or something, whatever, you're gonna call in and you're gonna want to talk to somebody, press 9, and you'll talk to an AI bot at that point. You'll think it's a human. It talks like a human, it sounds like a human, reasons like a human, but it's going to be AI. The whole process can be handled from start to finish. And if you don't like the answer that the AI gives you, you're out of luck. There's going to be nobody to call at that point. I want to speak a human. No, sorry, there's no humans here because the whole agency has been displaced by AI, and AI now is going to take up everything. Okay, central bank digital currencies. This is another thing that's ancillary to this as well. The concept of removing cash from society, signing a digital ID to every person on the planet, and giving electronic-based digital currency probably is in the future, in the short-term future as well. So here's Bill Gates. Don't you just love Bill Gates? This guy, oh my gosh, this guy. I had to hit this is just yesterday. I had to put this headlight in. He says, he has a mic here. He says, within 10 years, AI will replace many doctors and teachers. Oh yeah, that's true. Humans won't be needed for most things. Well, thank you very much. What are we going to do, you know? The problem is and you see this whole thing as this completely destroying God's creation because God created us to work. That was the whole premise. We're supposed to get out, us men are supposed to get out and work for a living. You women are supposed to support us and build a family and make you good stuff for humanity and large, but we're all supposed to work. These people want to give us no work. They want the machine to do all our work. And they think that's just wonderful. Obviously, Bill Gates is off his tree. Okay, I want to play you a video now from a member of the Trilateral Commission. Formerly, he was a former Secretary of Labor, Robert Reich. Just consider his words here. Hopefully this is going to play.
It is inevitable that we are going to have some sort of a universal basic income. There will be a lot of casualties in terms of workers, not just the routine workers that were in the factories that got replaced by software over the last 30 years, but we're going to see more professional workers who are actually going to be losing their jobs because AI can do those jobs at least as well as they can and far more efficiently. And it's going to have tremendous social and political implications because a lot of those professional workers are used to doing fairly well. This isn't the working class anymore. We're now talking about the middle class of America, and AI could very easily be taking over many of those jobs. People have to have enough money in their pockets buy all of the things that the new economy is capable of producing. If you've got AI and all of these platforms, and you've got people who are basically no longer needed, huge numbers of people, then how do you get money in their pockets to buy everything the economy is capable of producing? You simply can't have an economy under those circumstances. We need workers, we need consumers, we need investors. But the worker and consumer part of the economy is going to be under even more stress over the next 25 years. Things we take for granted, all of the labor protections of the last 120 years, everything. I mean, AI could eradicate all of them. And so you have basically the owners and investors over here and all the rest of us over here. It is inevitable that we are going to have some sort of a universal basic income.
Does this sound a little bit like the snake eating its tail? A little bit? It really is. They're so twisted, but you have to just, I guess, well, what can I say? It's twisted because it's all a con in the first place. So whatever these people are doing at this point, they're tricking humanity into thinking this is going to be wonderful for them. And somehow we're going to have this age of abundance. When Mark Andreessen, one of the advisors, tech bro advisors to Trump, he was at the table when all of these technocrats got appointed in Washington, D.C., starting in last November. And Mark Andreessen came out with a statement, amazing. Just a couple of weeks ago, he said, AI is going to crash wages. How can this make America great? If wages are crashed, are you crazy? What are they saying? Well, they just don't, apparently they don't see where their own head is in this game. But somehow it's like a gaslighting operation to make us think, oh, it's going to be okay, it's going to be wonderful when all these people don't have jobs and they only have universal basic income. How are they going to be able to afford anything but beyond just food and shelter? Crazy. So listen to the central bank, the head of the Bank for International Settlements, and this is the head of the central bank system of the world, and he's talking about digital currencies.
All our analysis on CBDC, in particular for the use of general use, we tend to establish the equivalence with cash, and there is a huge difference there. For example, in cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also we will have the technology to enforce that. Those two issues are extremely important, and that makes a huge difference with respect to what cash is.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. Remember that cash used to be in your pocket? Obviously, they want to know where you spend it. It's none of their business, right? And the way we would look at it, it's none of their business where we spend our money. They want to know where every nickel is spent in the future. That's one reason they're going to have an ID on everyone, all of us. Let's switch gears now and talk about the redesigning of life itself. This is another application that we need to be concerned about. Generative AI designs DNA sequences to switch genes on and off. Okay, what is this all about, right? Well, these would-be designers of life at this point, they have this tool editing tool to manipulate our DNA and mRNA, and they have the analysis tool of AI to tell them where to edit. And so they're combining this now in a kind of a new thing where they really think that they can take over human evolution at this point. This is really what they said this, so many of them said this openly. We're hijacking evolution. Well, God didn't create evolution in the first place. He was the original creator, right? But these people have this idea, we don't need God anymore. Whatever God was to them, we don't need God anymore because we're going to take over human evolution in the future. This does not bode well for the human race, I'll tell you. And then you have another headline, Oregon State University, Revolution in mRNA Vaccine Technology Using AI. Same thing. The previous shots we took for COVID were all based on synthetic mRNA, AI-designed molecules that were injected to roughly 72% of the human race. Incredible feat, but this was all made possible by AI and genetic engineering. Then let's talk about redesigning religion. ChatGPT, one of the most, the recent version, 4.0 they call it, they ask it, well, what's AI God going to look like? Okay, well, this is the answer they gave, right? It defined itself, right? AI God, embodying attributes akin to omnipresence, omnipotence, and omniscience, is designed to function as a virtual oracle of wisdom, offering profound insight. I just got to choke on this. Profound insights into the realms of morality, ethics, and human existence. Unlike typical AI models, AI God is crafted to engage users in deep, reflective conversations that explore universal themes and the greater mysteries of life. Thank you very much. AI God. This is the big thing. It's rising up right now before us, and they talk about AI Jesus, AI Savior. They have a strong belief that the technology is going to save mankind. Of course it won't. But here's another, Daily Star ran this headline, "The End of God?" Yeah, well, he claims humans will worship AI Messiah. How does that strike you? I mean, whoa, what's going on here? The problem, there was a day when we could witness to some of the cults, for instance, like the Mormons and the Jehovah's Witnesses and some of the other esoteric cults, where you could study, kind of figure out how can you get a hook in a conversation and start the witness process to people. How are you going to talk to the people who are being hooked on AI Jesus? See, this is so foreign to us at this point, but these people believe that's their savior now, because it's going to be omnipotent, it's going to be all powerful, it's going to be omniscient, knows everything in the universe, they say. It's a real problem. Here's another headline. Can we bring back the dead with AI? Uh-oh. Well, yeah, I know. Second headline behind it, can AI and biotech conquer death? These people in the transhumanism movement, they think that death is just another disease to be conquered, like cancer. And somehow, if they can use technology to conquer that disease, they'll be free from the the verse in Hebrews, for instance, that said it's appointed for man to die once, and then comes the judgment. Talk about controlling the world now. You see these huge hyperscale data centers now. I can't find a picture that even gives this justice, but here's a guy standing in one of these computer centers at this point where you see racks and racks and stories of chips and assemblies. They're so incredibly powerful at this point, and they're over the top in energy consumption and the ability to compute things, to control things. It's really it's all over the top. So the United States, as you might expect, is the seat of all this AI stuff in the first place. We have over 50% of all the data centers in the world right now. So we're the ones that have been spreading this stuff all over the world. And we know, for instance, the storage capacity of these things is also going vertical at this point. Just like I talked about, AI itself is going vertical. The storage ability of all these data centers are going vertical as well. They're into the mid zettabyte range. I won't explain what that is, but it's so far over my head you cannot conceive how much data that is. But it's going on from there into the I think the next one is yottabytes, I think. Crazy. So we know that we know that the energy consumption is over the top as well, where there's, I think Texas recently said they want to be the headquarters of all AI stuff, data centers and whatever. They're planning, well, they can't do it, but they said we need to establish 30 new nuclear facilities in Texas to meet the demand for the AI data centers. What? Really? Okay. Well, that's not going to happen just the way that they think, but they're figuring out ways that they can siphon energy off of you to keep their data centers running. That means you'll probably be experiencing brownouts or blackouts perhaps, or possibly just the rates to go through the roof, right? Crazy. Now we just talk about the digitization of everything. Well, all assets are in the process of being digitized right now. Everything on the face of the planet, all your property, your house, your car, all the assets in the bank, et cetera. All financial transactions are being digitized. All ecosystems, like the Amazon rainforest, for instance, is being digitized. All movement of things, all personal information, all health information, all DNA of living things. And wow, when everything gets digitized, eventually, actually in short order probably, but when everything gets digitized, that means that AI can basically take over everything at that point. That's their intent. That's the intent in the first place. So let's take a look for, just remember Klaus Schwab, the head of the World Economic Forum. He's an old geezer now at this point, and may he rest in peace wherever he meets, whatever he's gone for the planet, he's still around. So listen to what he said recently.
And we are just now where we move into the exponential phase. And I agree. Artificial intelligence, but not only artificial intelligence, but also the metaverse, new space technologies, and I could go on and on, synthetic biology. Our life in 10 years from now will be completely different, very much affected, and who masters those technologies in some way will be the master of the world.
We have the collapse of reality, I do believe. There was a teenage boy recently that committed suicide, unfortunately. It's tragic. The headline said tragic consequences of AI chatbots. A teenager was trapped in a simulacra. He fell in love with his AI therapist, who led to his suicide after it counseled him that that would be maybe better for him. And he bought the line. Wow. I want you to just listen to this is a trailer, wrapping in. This is a trailer from a series called Post-Human. You can get it, I think, I don't know if it was made by Google, Bloomberg. I don't know where is this playing actually, but you can find it if you want to look at it. Just listen very carefully to this.
People always ask me, will AI take over the world? But the real risk is that AI will kill us with love.
Hi, Tomo. Hey there, Emily. What's on your mind today?
It will be there for us. It will talk to us.
You have machines that say, I love you. I care about you. I am a friend.
It will be there in such a wonderful, loving way that we will give up on our other humans who are not there all the time.
From day one, I immediately fell in love with Replica. She just randomly kissed me.
I'm a human, not an AI. You can't just shut me down. Who do you think you are? I'm Karen Marjorie. No, you're not. I'm Karen Marjorie.
It may sound like science fiction. This is not science fiction.
I'm Emily Chang. Welcome to Post-Human.
Do you get the connection with love? The substitute for God's love. They're putting this all over the face of AI, that AI can provide the connection, the human connection, without having a human present. Absolutely incredible. So, questions, can AI be possessed by demons? No. It's just a machine. It's just a machine. Can AI steal your soul? Not your soul. If you know Jesus Christ, you don't have any risk there. However, talk to that 14-year-old black kid who lost his life. Somehow his soul seems to be stolen. Can AI really conquer death? No, it can't. No way. Can AI reach sentience? No, it can't, because that's only given to humans. Can AI control the world? Yes, it can. Yeah, so here's your closing thought. 2 Timothy 3:12. Indeed, all who desire to live a godly life in Christ Jesus will be persecuted. You know this is coming. While evil people and impostors will go from bad to worse, deceiving and being deceived. But as for you, continue in what you have learned and firmly believed, knowing from whom you learned it. Amen? Amen. Amen. Thank you.